kid. This is the way.
I want to go ahead and I want to move on to the next part of my stream. And that is my review for The Mandalorian, Season 3, Episode 8, Chapter 24.17. The Return, the Season 3 finale, chat. Finally wrapped up today. This entire arc, if you will, of Bo-Katan and I suppose also Din Djarin and Baby Yoda, chat. They were there, chat. They were there. But that kind of, put out the general premise for this episode for those that don't know. As Bo-Katan and her contingent of Mandalorians attempt to escape and fight through the lair of Moff Gideon and fight back against his various forces, Din Djarin and Grogu take the fight to Gideon himself in hopes of ending Gideon once and for all. As I've been doing for all these episode reviews, I'm kind of giving my overall opinion of the season itself, and again, kind of repeating what I said last week, Chad. I feel like a lot of season 3 of The Mandalorian. Listen, I've enjoyed The Mandalorian, especially season 1, season 2. Not that it didn't have its issues, it did, but it had a nice balance of world building, introducing us to new characters, giving us the character development, and telling a really fun, entertaining story. And in those first 2 seasons, they pretty much wrapped up what the main storyline was going to be. I was like, oh, cool. Let's see what we're going to do now in the future. And then I don't know if there was some behind-the-scenes nonsense going on, chat. I've been told by some of you guys that Kathleen Kennedy said, no, we're bringing back Baby Yoda, bring back Grogu, and we'll use Boba Fett as a launching pad, and that took away from Boba Fett, and and we're gonna have him in season 3, and that's been kind of one of my biggest problems, chat, with this particular season. I think because of that is one of the big reasons I think that has led this particular season to feel unfocused, at times just kind of unnecessary in a lot of ways, or at least unnecessary in the amount of episodes they have. And I don't know, it just kind of feels inauthentically manufactured. It doesn't feel like it didn't. There's so much about this season that doesn't feel earnest. It just feels like we're obligated to have Baby Yoda and have Din Djarin do all these things. Now, although there have been some highlights, particularly with, Katie Sackhoff playing Bo-Katan. She's voiced this character since the Clone Wars, chat, and obviously moved over to live action, in which she was introduced in The Mandalorian, season 2. And, she has been great. She's been, to me, the best character of this season. So much of the plot has been focused on her. So much of the development has been focused on her and her position in Mandalorian society, and leading the Mandalorians back to prominence, the retaking of Mandalore. But the thing that has bothered me is that Din Djarin has become a supporting character, and sometimes even as a tertiary character, it feels like, in his own show. And Baby Yoda, Grogu, continues to serve. He serves no purpose. He serves no purpose, other than to sell toys. He eats things. He's cute. All right, I'm not denying that. He is cute. But he's there to sell merchandise. And it's like, I don't really see the point of this character anymore. But talking about the episode itself, right? And I don't want to be negative off the bat, but I will say, this episode, for being the grand finale of season 3, right? This episode feels extremely short to me. If you shave off the recap intro, right? The beginning recap intro, like what telling us like what happened earlier this season, what happened, last episode, and also the end credits. This episode really, I would say, is about 29 or 30 minutes. I think it's barely 30 minutes. Barely 30 minutes of actual screen time, which makes me just kind of like, it makes me ask the question, chat, like, why didn't you just have 7 episodes this season? You know, it just feels like, you know, we immediately pick up with Bo-Katan just running away with the Mandalorians, you know, down that hall after the big man said, get out of here. I'll take him on myself, right? Which was a cool action sequence, no doubt about that. It just I don't know, it just didn't feel like a natural start. It just felt like a bad edit. It's just like just have those extra 30 minutes or 29 minutes is added on to the last episode. It's almost like, well, we need to, you know, have 8 episodes. That's what people expect. And I'm just like, I don't know. It just didn't feel like a natural, easy start. You know, it was just like, all right, here we are. We're right back to it. I'm like, okay, shit. You know. Also, this is the other thing, and this is not really a spoiler, chat. But the capture of Din. You know, I was like, oh, Din Djarin got captured at the end of the episode. Like, oh, shit. Okay, what's going to happen? People were saying, like, oh, this is going to be it for him. They're going to kill him and everything. The capture of Din pretty much amounts to nothing. Because within, like, the first, not even, like, 5 minutes, like, less than 2 minutes, he immediately escapes. He's just like, I escaped. It's like, what was the point of all that then? What was the point? He immediately escapes after being captured by the Imperials. And so it's kind of like almost this faux sense of danger and drama. It literally amounts to nothing. Like, I thought, like, this episode was like, oh, this is gonna be like, hey, we're gonna rescue Din. He's gonna get some big personal moments with you know, Grogu and everything, and like, hey, no, this is just gonna mean something. It's like, nah, not really. He immediately escapes, and it's just like, oh yeah, because they're stormtroopers, and they're so incompetent. But I don't know. It just felt like, and it just felt like a way to split up the action then between Bo-Katan and Din. I do think they do finally give a lot of stuff for Din to do in this particular episode, as you know, he's just like, hey, listen. I'm just going to assassinate Moff Gideon. That's my job. That's what I'm like, we gotta end this. We gotta end this once and for all. And, you know, he's just blasting his way through the Imperial facility. And that's the one thing I really do want to highlight. I think one of the best things about this particular episode and the last one, and this overall this season, a lot of action in this season, in this particular episode, I think is quite good. And again, cinema quality, chat. It's like, yeah, you could put this in a theater and people, I think, be like, yep, this is, I mean, it's better than some CGI you know, that we see in, you know, big blockbuster movies. You get your space battles, you get your blaster fights, you know, in the air with all the jetpacks and stuff, and that's really cool to see. It's like visually really exciting, chat. And we also get and this was kind of cool, we get these kind of more intimate, almost, even though it's this term now is thrown around all the time, these John Wick-esque fight sequences between just a few characters where it features like a lot of good fight choreography, and they don't feel the need to like chop it up and edit it. You know, it's like, hey, we can have the camera pull back and we can see all this play out. And I was like, hey, that was all. This is all very good in this episode. And all the action, practical effects, the CGI, it all blends together very well. It's great, chat. And they have a nice balance of cutting between, again, it's very Return of the Jedi-esque, you know, which, you know, Return of the Jedi is, I love Return of the Jedi. I mean, not without its issues, of course, but I think that's one of the, like, most well-edited of the Star Wars movies, particularly with the third act. Third act is exceptionally well-edited in that movie, where we're literally cutting between, like, 3 major events, and it all feels really seamless. Everything happening on the Battle of Endor on the ground, the space battle with the Death Star 2, and everything within Emperor Palpatine's throne room between Luke, Vader, and Palpatine. Like, all of that is edited. It's like, this is fucking perfect. This is immaculate, right? And they do some of that here, and it's done very well, and I really like that. The issue though is because this is only like 30 minutes, like barely 30 minutes. It's probably 29 minutes. Maybe a couple seconds extra, right? There's just so much stuff that I feel like they rush through it within the 30-minute, episode length. Like, so, okay, I'm very careful what I'm going to say right here. Gideon, so we finally find him. Remember, Chad, in season 1 and season 2, like the Empire, Moff Gideon's like, I want to capture Baby Yoda, right? We find out. We don't really know, like, why he's doing that. People have been speculating. It's like, oh, it's related to this, related to that. He literally says why he did it in this episode. And it's just like a single word. He's just like, I did it for this reason. And I was like, oh. And then it just kind of goes away. And that was it. It's like 2 seasons of buildup, 16 episodes. Really, if you count this season too? 24 episodes to build up to like the reason why he has been hunting, Grogu for all this time. The reason why, you brought in Werner Herzog. I want to see the baby. All that stuff. And it kind of just amounts to one thing. I'm just like, really? That's it? Are we going to go more into that? No? Okay. And I was like, I was disappointing. That it just didn't feel it. Again, I think we could have gotten more into that. That would have been really interesting. But it's just kind of done away with. It's like, all right, cool, boop, 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 and hits a button, and it's like, hey, that shit's gone. That shit's out of there. And also just, I don't know, this is another thing, too. Like, the Mandalorians reclaiming their homeworld. I wanted to see more of that as well in this episode. This again, it's supposed to be this huge, like a planet-wide battle. It's not really like that. It's more intimate, smaller. I know they can only have so much. They can only play with so much with their budget with these scenes. And then what they do a lot of is quite good. But it's just like, yeah, something about like the idea this season. We're reclaiming our planet in the way in which seems very big in my mind. But in the terms of the show, it feels so intimate and small. And that's kind of just weird to me. Also, but I'm like, okay, still. The way in which they showed it and did it, I thought was visually very entertaining. Like, I'm not taking that away from it, right? And I was like, this is pretty cool. Like, all the choreography, love all the jetpack stuff. Very fun. Very, very fun, Chad. And they really showed off the abilities of the Mandalorians, really showed off the ability of these kind of like Imperial Beskar jet troopers. That's great, right? But one thing that was weird to me after, everything, a lot of things are wrapped up this particular season. In this episode, it just feels like they're rushing towards the end at this point. Like, there's just this lack of characters commiserating with each other, if you know what I mean. Just talking when the dust settles, especially between Bo-Katan and Din Djarin, chat. It's similar to a complaint that I had with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, remember when I reviewed Obi-Wan Kenobi, and my biggest complaint was, why are Vader and Obi-Wan not talking to each other? It's like, you said that this whole series was going to be about Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader, and they literally only have one fucking conversation. And it doesn't come until the end of the movie. And guess what? It's the best part of the show. And it's like, why did we waste all this time with all this filler to then get to finally the best part of the show? And that's it. Like, when Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor are going back and forth, it's great. It's like, then I really feel the emotion, chat. I was like, this is wonderful. When you have Ewan McGregor breaking down in tears and saying, it's like, Anakin, I'm sorry for everything. I'm sorry for all of it. And Anakin's like, don't feel bad, Obi-Wan. All right? You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did. It's like, this is good. Right? They don't even do that here. It's so much of the season has been about Din Djarin and Bo-Katan like working together, becoming like incredibly close friends. I mean, Din Djarin in the previous episode was like, I'll serve you to the end. This is what I want to do. I believe in you. It's like, oh, it's nice. And it's like, let's get a moment like that again where, hey, after everything that's happened, let's talk. And they don't do that. And it's just like, that's just so weird. I think she just goes, just gives him a nod. I'm like, I want more than just just fucking talk. Just talk to each other, right? So it's very weird that, going in the future, we're going to get more. They say they're going to get more. This is the other thing, too. They say we're getting more seasons of this series. And I guess that'll lead up to the movie, which I'll talk about that in a second. But I feel like kind of like the last shot of this season feels like a series finale. It's just like, well, here we go, we're done. It's over. They wrapped up everything. So it's just kind of weird. Now, they kind of hint at, like, at the end of the show, again, not going too much spoilers, but more of a back to basics approach. And I'm like, I don't know if I want that. Where it's going to be more, even more episodic and more kind of like creature of the week and like just bounty hunter mission. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, what they did here, it didn't really work out. Like, they had a good idea. It's just they probably used the wrong characters for it. It almost feels like it could have been a separate show. The show should have been called, like, The Mandalorians or Bo-Katan, honestly. Because she's the best thing about this season. She's really good. And I like Katie Sackhoff a lot. She has the most material to work with out of anybody. But, and we're just going back to side questing for the next couple of seasons. Because, yeah, the plate's kind of been wiped clean. I'm just kind of curious. Because then it just feels like and this is the problem that Star Wars has had for quite a while, is we're just kind of spinning our wheels here. We're just seeing the same shit. It's like this is a galaxy, this is a universe, and we seem to be in the neighborhood. So, I don't know. I would have been fine if this is the end. I think it probably ended with a lackluster season, chat, but at least it would have been an ending. And it's like, okay, it's a good last shot. It's a good last shot. Believe me. And even how really just with the wipes and everything and the framing, it just felt like a goodbye. So I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to me. But it's still an entertaining episode. I don't think it's the best episode of the season. I think of the finales, probably the weak in terms of the finales. We were comparing it to the season 2 finale and the season 1 finale. This is definitely the weakest of those finales, just in terms of the stakes and the characters and things that are involved. It just didn't have that same punch to me that those had. That I was like, wow, this is they're nailing it here. Yeah, it just I feel like because of issues behind the scenes and of a lack of focus on Din Djarin, or just almost a lack of what to do. Like they don't really know what to do with this character at this point, that we kind of got, I think, a lackluster season. There's so much of this particular story that could be told within 4 episodes, honestly. It's like we could wrap up. Like, you have where Din regains his honor in the first 2, and then everything that we've gotten for like the last 6, I feel like those can be maybe turned into like 2 or 3 episodes. It's like, all right, here we go, But they just added so much unnecessary filler that it just doesn't feel as good as past seasons. So I am I don't know. It doesn't. And the other thing about this, because this show, Ahsoka, apparently Skeleton Crew, Boba Fett, maybe, I don't know. They're all leading towards this Dave Filoni movie, which is, I guess, a loose adaptation of The Heir to the Empire with Grand Admiral Thrawn, who I love as a character. He's probably my favorite Star Wars villain. Honestly, that's not just in the books, just overall. So I'm just a little concerned that, like, based on how you've wrapped up like a number of these shows, Andor being the exception. Andor's amazing. But like, you look at how you wrapped up Boba Fett, look at how you wrapped up Obi-Wan Kenobi, and now The Mandalorian. It's just like, these are really lackluster endings. And I have this fear that they're going to waste Thrawn. And I'm just like, please don't do that. Please, for the love of God, don't do that. But I don't know. I would place my bets in that corner that they will, but we'll see. So I'm sorry that I'm sounding so negative, chat. Like, overall, I think this was an entertaining episode, but yeah, certainly not as good as past finales, not as good as past seasons. But yeah, that's The Mandalorian, season 3, episode 8, chapter 24, The Return. What did you guys think of the episode? Did you like this season? Did you like it more than I did? How would you compare it to past? What do you want to see in the future? Because they're going to make more, allegedly, apparently. And how is this all going to culminate in a movie or a series of films, or, as far as they're saying right now, just a movie? I don't know. Let me know. I hope everyone enjoyed the film review, and I want to take the time to tell you about the movie of the week, a film that I really enjoy and one that I think you will too. This week's movie is Scream, just in time for the release of Scream 6. Scream is directed by Wes Craven and written by Kevin Williamson. A year after the murder of her mother, a teenage girl is terrorized by a killer who targets the girl and her friends by using horror films as part of a deadly game. If anyone is interested in purchasing this fantastic film, please make use of the Amazon affiliate link below in the video description. Your subsequent purchase of the film not only earns me a helpful commission, but any purchase you may make after clicking on the link itself for 24 hours would help earn me additional commissions as well. Doesn't matter if it's a Blu-ray, a video game, a pair of socks, or a washing machine, everything within 24 hours of that click can really help the channel. So go ahead and check out the film, enjoy browsing and shopping.